Okay. All right, everyone. Hi. It's so good to be here with you today. I'm going to share. I went back and forth with Natalie. I'm like, okay, she's like, what are you feeling passionate about right now? And I'm like, well, I can talk about how I brought in my last 10 builders, or I can talk about the things I've learned for the last decade in the business, kind of principles. And she's like, I'm like, what do you feel like people need? And she said, well, why don't we do a little combination of both? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk to you about how I found my last 10 builders. So we're going to talk about people, we're going to talk about principles, and we're going to talk about strategies. And I want you to know that my principles at least, don't change. They are hard and fast, and it's because I'm very defined in my principles that I am able to recruit strong. And when I talk about builders, we love to call them multipliers on our team, thanks to one of my frontline builders. She's like, aren't builders really like multipliers? And I'm like, absolutely they are. So there's two ways you can look at your business at growing it. And this is basic math, right? You can either add by enrolling customers, and you can literally do that, honestly, to presidential if you want to. That's really hard. Or if you bring in builders, part-time builders, full-time builders, those multiply your business. Both of those grow. But how many of you would prefer to take probably a combined approach, a healthy combined approach, right? But really include multipliers, right? Absolutely, we want multipliers. So go ahead and advance the slides. Okay, I put my last 10 builders. Some are a little further back. I didn't include some because I want to tell some of the stories here. But I know several of you know me and know that I came from another company, so I've often heard, well, it's Lindsay, it's really easy for you to find builders because you came from another company. But what I want to show you over here is that some of my last 10 builders are new to network marketing. Okay, so it's not just that I have connections to network marketing, it's that my lens by which I do the business is I'm always looking for builders. Okay, the other thing I want you to see here is the age. I have ages next to all of these people. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want you to see, is there only one generation that you're pulling from, Lindsay? Is there only one that you're really connecting to? No, I'm really looking at, my eyes are always open. It doesn't matter the age, okay? So I want to look at my principles by which I do the business, and then I'll go through, after that, I'm going to go through kind of the strategies that I've used to reach out to people, but also to draw people. I do both. I do things to create curiosity, and I also go to people and say, hey, have you ever considered, or have you ever thought of? So patiently persistent, that is my number one principle in finding builders and also just doing the business in general. If you can stay patient and persistent equally, you will do well in the journey of finding builders. So one of the things that I love about patience is persistence keeps my patience going. It helps me stay patient because I'm persistent in the patience process while I'm waiting to have conversations, or maybe while somebody's not getting back to me. And sometimes that patience requires me to wait 5 months, a year, 2 years. There's times that I brought in builders who I've been talking to for 3 or 4 years and the timing hasn't been right, but I've been very patient and I've been very persistent about staying in connection with them throughout the months and years. The other thing I love about patience is it keeps a rein on my persistence. Sometimes I can get very persistent and I can be following up with people a little too much because I want an answer, I want a response. And patience tells me, Lindsay, calm down, this is a marathon, not a sprint. So I really look at patiently persistent as the principle of virtue, where I need to be fully patient and fully persistent at all times when I'm looking at finding builders, okay? Number 2, super important. I am unattached to my outcomes. And I will tell you, and Amy Fulmer was talking about the right mindset. How do you have the right mindset? Like, having the right mindset makes it so much easier to do this business. When you're very clear and very self-defined and you know what you're offering, it makes it so much easier to step in and find customers and find builders. I don't worry about what people think of me. I don't worry about if they're gonna say no to me. I am completely unattached to my outcomes. Do you know how freeing that is? It is so freeing, and it also allows me then to connect with people all the time because I don't worry about whether or not they're going to say no to me. I honestly don't care if they say no to me. A lot of times when people say no to me, they eventually say yes to me, or they refer me to somebody down the road. I might get a customer out of it. And even if they don't, it doesn't matter to me. Okay? Number 3. My goal is to be a collector of talent. I want people who are so much more skilled than me. I want people who are way more talented, have much more experience, and I'm not intimidated by that. So I have several leaders on my team who have talents and skill sets that are far beyond mine. And I'm super grateful for that. So I think the biggest thing when my principles are, I'm like, my goal is to always be looking for talent and collect it. I want to collect talent on my team. Anytime I can collect talent, I bring new skill sets around the table, and what does that do? It strengthens everybody on my team because now we bring another talent into our pool and we can share it. Okay? Number 4. This is important, and it actually combines in with number 5, so why don't you go ahead and put number 5 there. Caring about people for their sake is so critical. People will know if you're trying to recruit them to build your business. They're going to feel that. But if you actually stay unattached to your outcomes and you see people for who they are, you truly care about the people. And what I always do is I try to become a student of people's problems. So I try to find out what are the things that are going on in their life, with their family, with their finances, sometimes they don't share that stuff, with their health, with their jobs, with their kids. So I'm always trying to get an idea of what are people's problems, because I also know in the doTERRA world, I have a whole lot of solutions. Okay, so these are my 5 principles. There's actually one more I'm gonna tag on at the end. One of the things that I found in the last decade of doing this business is that there's a lot of people in your organizations, in our organization, that talk a lot about their business activity, okay? It can get noisy. Sometimes it's hard to know who to listen to. So let me give you some tips. Find the people who have built the kind of organization that you want to build and learn everything they're doing. I stalk Matt Hall. I do. On social media all the time, like, what are you saying? What are you doing? What are you posting? That is genius, that is genius, that is genius. And I steal it a lot of times, and I'm like, Matt, I'm so sorry I stole this. He's like, way to go, good job. You know, I watch what the Goddards are doing. I watch what Amy Fulmer is doing. And I know that there's a lot of really good things that are happening, but for me, I want to not only build to presidential, I want to help other people build to presidential. I want to give other people freedom financially. So for me, I'm like, so who is doing that, and how can I learn from those people specifically? Okay, so those are my people. Okay, go back. I'm not there yet. Okay, so I want to talk about some of my strategies that I've done. Now, several of these people actually have come to me, and I'll start with the first one here. I know I'm limited on time. Okay, perfect. So my first one, this is actually my niece. She got married last month, and she joined doTERRA 4 months ago, and she came to me and said, I've watched you over the last 5 to 10 years and what you've done with your family. I see the freedom that you have with your kids, that you guys get to travel everywhere, that you guys are not financially restricted. And she's like, I want to start that now when I get married. And I'm like, you're a genius. I wish I would have known that at age 20. So she came, she loves health and wellness. She's like, I would love to start building now with doTERRA. Can you help me with that? Absolutely. So what did we learn from that? I learned that 5 to 10 years of building with people watching me brought something to me a decade later. So what you do today actually matters tomorrow and next year and 5 years from now. It always matters, okay? Steph and Seth, this is a couple brand new to this world of wellness. And I actually went to them because Stephanie is from Ecuador, and I know that Ecuador has founder spots still open. And I was like, hey, Steph, I know you and Seth, you guys love, they work together in Boys Town in Omaha. And I'm like, I know that you two want to work together, want to continue to work together. That's kind of their dream, is to always work together. I know their problem. right? I know their problem, so I'm speaking right to it. And I know that something that Ecuador has founder spots open. So I actually went to them and I said, I don't know if you would ever be interested, but there's what we call founders open in Ecuador where you would have an opportunity to, earn a share of income for a lifetime, things like that. And what that did is that actually opened up the conversation, like, yes, we would like to have a conversation with you about that. So we had a conversation about that. They came on in May. And they've launched, they're doing great. Sarah, she's actually with me here. So Sarah was unique. She's one of my frontline builders. She built to platinum in 8 months, okay? So she is somebody who I knew, she had an amazing weight loss journey outside of doTERRA. She did everything right that nobody really wants to take the time to do. She changed her food, she walked every day and worked out, and she was patiently persistent with her weight loss journey. And she lost a significant amount, and she was feeling great. So she's like, I'm on these amazing supplements, like I feel great. Like there was no real reason for her to want to necessarily try doTERRA. And so there were times where she would actually reach out to me because she was in my previous business. And she would just ask me questions about doTERRA. And I know Sarah has a strategy brain, and she loves strategy. So she's like, so tell me a little bit more about being able to create your own, like really be able to build your own organization and have some say over your organization and things like that. So I started trying to answer those questions for her, but it was funny in our conversations, she always would say to me, well, I don't want to do this, Lindsay. I mean, I don't really want to do this. And I'm like, that's fine, I'm not telling you should. But you could tell she wanted to, but she was like, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, okay, then don't. So I'm very patient on that. And in September of last year, she messaged me at 6 a.m. and said, I just had a dream last night. I need to try the supplements. Can you send me samples? And I said, absolutely not. I'm not giving you samples. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You're going to go on an LRP and you're going to do it like I work with every other customer. And she joined as a builder and promoted to platinum in 8 months. Okay? Yeah, crazy. So Michelle was on an LRP. And I knew from that customer, Michelle, I'm like, you focus on health and wellness. I watch you post on social media, and you focus on health and wellness all the time. So I reached out to her. She'd been on an LRP for 3 to 4 months for both her and her husband. And I said, hey, I'm not sure if you would ever be interested or open, but is the wellness world something you've ever considered? And she's like, well, I'm not sure. I've actually thought about it a little bit. And I said, I would love to be able to connect with you on it and see if this might be something that you might want to explore. We got on the phone. She's already at Elite. She's been in the business for about 3 to 4 months. We launched her well. I do a mixture of online and in person, by the way. I just find I'm like, if I can genuinely show up anywhere, that's kind of my goal. And I want to have eyes to see online, in person. I'm just like, God, give me eyes to see people. Okay, so if you're like, do you do online? I'm like, I do everything. Linda is a 72-year-old lady. I've never met her in person. I happened to post something online that actually ended up being quite controversial, and she ended up seeing it. It got shared into a political group, apparently, that had like 70,000 people in it, and I was like, holy crap, oh my goodness. She contacted me because she was in that group, and she said, I've never met you, but what you shared was so genuine, and it touched my heart. Can we have a call? I'm like, sure. She just started as a builder, okay? Crazy. Maria and Addie and one other one. I'm just gonna share one last one here. I posted something on social media, because again, you guys, strategies change. If you listen, some of these people I reach out to. Some of these people come to me. I just joined, I'm not gonna tell you that. I will tell you this actually, because this is true. I'm a little bored in my business right now, okay? Because my leaders are doing absolutely amazing. And I'm like, I need to find some frontline builders. So I just joined a networking group. I just joined 2 networking groups this last month, okay? Because I'm like, what is my strategy right now? My strategy needs to change based on where I'm at in the business. So don't get so hung up on your strategies that you're like, this strategy isn't working. Then change your strategy. So here's one of the things I did on social media like 2 months ago. I put in my stories, I took a picture of myself, and I had the number 2. And I said, I am looking for 2 people who I can invest in to build a business in wellness. Contact me if you're interested. Okay? Now, ultimately, I'm looking for frontline builders, but I also know when I post things like that, I'm gonna find part-time builders too. So I did that, and I actually had somebody who attended one of my Reclaim Your Health events, a mom, she referred her daughter, Maria, to me. Maria just launched. She's like, she really wants to start health and wellness. I'm like, amazing. Addie reached out to me. She's like, I always have wanted to do health and wellness. I saw this on your stories. Can I talk to you more about this? I'm like, absolutely, let's get on a phone call. So I just want you guys to kind of see, like, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. Stick close to your principles, and honestly, understand people's problems. Ask a lot of questions. Tammy was somebody who I hadn't talked to in a super long time. I got on the phone with her just to catch up on life. She's in tears, she's depressed, she didn't feel good, like her body was hurting, she wasn't happy with her job, and I wasn't actually planning to talk to her about the business, but because of how the direction of the call was going, I was hearing about her problems, and I knew I had solutions for her. And I said, Tammy, would you ever consider a shift in what you're focusing on right now in your business world? Would you ever be open to trying something new? And she's like, well, I'm not sure. What do you mean by that? And so then I kind of started talking to her about the business. And I'm like, do you want to get on a separate call at some point? We started talking to her a little bit, and I'm like, why don't we schedule a call and we'll look at the business? Tammy's a premier. She's brought in 2 builders already. So it's really amazing. Just be open. I think part of it is be open. And go ahead and flip to the last slide here. Know what your business opportunity offers. Like, you just sat up here and listened to 5 incredible leaders who have programs that are duplicatable. You can bring any builder in and start them on programs that are duplicatable, right? Do you know what your compensation plan has to offer? We are in an inflated America right now. That is real. People's pocketbooks right now are light. We have a solution that is significant. That drives me, honestly, because I know a lot of people don't like to talk about it. They don't like to talk about the money piece. You guys, it is real for people who don't have enough money right now, and that's nearly everyone. Okay? So I love talking about our business because I know I have a financial solution, not just a product solution, a financial solution for a lot of people. That, again, is coming down to the headspace. What's your mindset in building? So I think know what your opportunity offers. Also, you need to define your principles by which you do business, meaning like even by which you're recruiting. So when I showed you my 5 principles or 6 principles, those are non-negotiables for me. I stick to those. If I go outside of my principles, I'm no longer aligned, and I actually don't feel like I can recruit with integrity. I have to stay within my principles. So do you know what your principles are? If you're defined in that area, you're actually going to find you're more free to recruit. Okay? And then go. Thank you.